Okay guys, so this is going to be another video on the geo-enclosed scooter, and the reason I'm making another one is basically explaining the same thing is because this thing is known by a couple of names, and I just want to make sure if you're about to buy one that maybe you see this before you buy it, because it's not worth the money. If I have only had this thing for 4 months and it can barely go 10 miles in 4 months, and the way the mechanic has explained to me is it makes sense because the batteries, the way they're designed, they deplete from range in 4 months, and I'm expected to buy new batteries for this in 4 months. 4 months. No. When I pay $7,000 for something, this should have been 5, but thanks to stupid tariffs, whoever thinks those is a good idea, I don't know what is wrong with you. But thanks to, sorry to get political, but it pisses me off how expensive crap is in today's day and age, and how my generation can never freaking have a house or a freaking car. But yeah. And I guess the car thing is just me. I just don't want to pay for one because they're stupidly expensive. But I'm going to go over a little bit of stuff about this thing and why this may be the biggest financial mistake you will ever make in your life. Okay, so this thing's cool. It gets a lot of attention. Yeah, it's neat. It gets a lot of attention. A lot of people like it. And there's nothing to say more about that. Yeah, if you want attention, yeah, get one of these. They're awesome. I feel like a celebrity driving this thing around. But let me go over some bad things about this that you probably will not hear anywhere else on the internet. Okay? So I don't know how good the brakes are on this thing. I used them like I was supposed to. This thing, okay, and this is another thing. This thing is something I completely didn't talk about when I first got this, because they shipped this thing to me, right, in a cage. To get in this car, I had to somehow shimmy the door, because the door can kind of pull open with it being locked. If you see that right there, it can do that. It's locked. Right, well, it's not locked, but it's closed. But this one over here is locked. And you can see it can do this when it is locked. There's no way to unlock it from the inside, so I'm not saying someone can get in here and steal it, but it can do that from the inside. And I'm not a big guy. I'm not that strong. I'm like barely 150 pounds. Or I'm barely 160, but yeah, I'm like 154, and I'm like 6 feet tall. And most of that's bone, because I don't have any muscles. I haven't been to a gym or worked out in a long time because of my diabetes, and I'm starting to do a lot of stuff again, and feels good to be getting back out there and doing stuff again. But, hold on, there's a stupid mosquito in here. Get the frick out of here, dude. I'm not getting bit by you. There, okay, killed him. Nope. Hold on. There we go, killed him. There he is. Okay, he's dead. Sorry about that. I don't want to get bit by those things. I get itchy real bad. But very bad things about this that I don't think anybody talks about, because the only thing you'll see online is praise about these. Anybody that has one, they're usually like an old person. And old people aren't very social media friendly, I guess, if that makes sense. They don't make YouTube channels and stuff, like not a lot of them. That's more of my generation's thing. But I just want to be honest with anybody that if you were going to buy one of these, it's not what you think it is. I thought this thing was going to be warm. Well, turns out there's a big draft that comes in right here. Big draft comes in right here. Big, huge draft. You get a bunch of wind on windy days. And when it's cold, this thing, yeah, it has a heater. But when you have air conditioning from cold air coming in outside from the winter, that's not going to do very good. Because you have a lot of air entering the vehicle Cold air is entering the vehicle and it's trapped in here with you. Yes, it's getting warm in here at the same time, but at the same time as it's getting warm, you're also using a lot of battery. And, you're not going to be able to go as far. I already can't go very far because apparently my batteries have depleted in range, and the mechanic there wants me to take them. The dude's pissing me off because he tells me to take it to a battery place and have it tested. And I did. And he says to test the amps. I went and tested the amps yesterday at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and I guess that's still not what he wants. He doesn't understand really where to tell me to go, I guess, or something. I don't know. But, he told me to go to a battery manufacturer that is 200 miles away from me. Bro, I do not own a regular car. And there ain't no way in heck, even if I did, I'm driving 200 miles to check some stupid batteries, dude. You guys need to figure out some other way to diagnose problems on this thing, because when I pay $7,000 for something, well, $5,000 for everybody else because I'm an idiot and bought it for $7,000. Freaking stupid president should be responsible for giving me back the over freaking money I spent on the illegal bullcrap he's done. But, sorry again to get political, but I'm very pissed about that because I am not somebody that has a good financial standing. I took out a loan for this. I have to pay back, I took out $7,000 and I have to pay back $11,000 for this because I thought this was going to change my life so much. I just didn't want to be cold in the winter anymore with my bike. And you're like, oh, get a car. Never would I ever get a car. Cars are stupid. I don't want one. I love cars. Like, I love auto design and stuff. I love looking at them and stuff, but I would never own a car. I don't want one. They're too big. They're too fast. They're too expensive. Like, even used cars now. I remember you could buy a used car for $1,000 now. Good luck finding that. Every used car you see is almost freaking $6,000 or at least $5,000. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not paying that much for something that I got to pay more on. Like, I got to pay insurance now and everything. Like, no, I'm not doing that. No way in heck am I doing that. But, yeah. Bad thing about owning this that they don't tell you is, there's a lot of drafts that come in here. They don't tell you that. And then once you spend $5,000 on this, you're like, oh, like right now, I can feel a draft coming in right here hitting my arm while it's just laying here. There's a big draft right here, just coming in right here. And also, they do not tell you that these batteries, I guess, deplete very fast. Because you can see, oh, it's charged right now, right? Oh, it is charged, my friends. It is charged. But, even though it's lying straight through its grill right now to us, because it is charged. Oh, it is. It says it is at 69.3 volts. Okay? Well, after a while, after me driving it, it's still going to say it's at 100, and then when I give it juice, it's going to go bang all the way down here and show red, and that battery's going to start blinking, and it's going to go barely 2 miles an hour. That's what it's going to do. Oh, you can probably still drive it like that. Yeah, you can. It'll drive for a little while like that. It will. But that's not what I paid for. Okay, I expected what my e-bikes do. Okay? My e-bikes, yes, when they die, they slow down. But also, my e-bikes don't make me replace a battery in 4 months. And the mechanic I talked to said that they are going to lose capacity over that time. I'm sorry. You need to be rich to own one of these then, because if you gotta buy a battery every 4 months, and I don't know if it's all of them, the way the battery places have been talking to me and I've gone and gotten a test that, they said that, yeah, you might have to buy all of them, and then some of them like, no, you only gotta buy one. I think they're like $200 or $400. I can't think of what they are right now. But if I gotta buy that every 4 months, And I also have to go and test the battery 200 miles away every 4 months. I'm pissed. Why did I pay that much for this? Why? This thing's a hunk of crap. 4 months? Not even half a year. Even half of a year is a freaking disgrace. But 4 months? 4 months? 4 months. Okay. And you might be like, oh, that's normal. Those are Nikolai batteries. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's normal. Let me tell you something. 4 months with this, if I use this the way I use that, this thing could still go for years. Okay, e-bike companies will tell you batteries on these things will last for only a couple of years. It's bull crap. They will not. They will not. I have a Rad Runner Plus, a Rad Wagon 4, and I have had those for going on 6 years. And guess what, guys? They still work. They still work. I have driven these things places no one would ever dare to drive e-bikes. I have put 3 batteries on one of them one time, switched them out, and I've taken those bikes on 100-mile trips. Okay? 100-mile trips. Okay? 100-mile trips. And they made it. Okay? So, I'm just going to ask you right now. What seems like it's worth more money? Mr. $5,000, I need constant battery repair and, you know, who knows what else. Or, see this right here? This is a electric XP trike. Now, I have not owned this for over a year yet, but, I will tell you, this is going to outlive that tenfold. And this gets taken care of way better than this does. This gets sprayed on its chain and stuff. This gets sprayed on its whole undercarriage. I spray the entire undercarriage of this car with oil underneath it so it does not rust. This, I don't barely, if the chain was to break on this, I could still drive it. And the reason I tell you this is because this is the only e-bike I have with a chain. All the other ones I was stupid with and I never lubed them and they broke. And guess what? They still run to this day. The only bike I have had that broke down that the chain broke on is my Hemingway Cruiser. And those bikes are notorious for having engine issues. But that thing still lasted me for over 7,000 miles. And I said this is 1,500 on it, right? Oh, the battery's not in this right now. This only has like 2 on it because I haven't driven it a lot since I got that. I kind of stopped using this once I got that, but now I'm using this instead of that because that I don't trust. It dies too fast and I'm not being stuck pushing that freaking thing home. I use it to go on little runs and do little errands, but I can't use it to take my wife to work like I intended to buying the thing. So now, once winter gets here, the best thing I have to stay out of the cold is, bing, this. And you might be like, that has a floor. That doesn't. Okay. I have ridden my bikes for a long time in the snow. And let me tell you something. The bottom area of you is not something that's hard to keep warm. If you put on good boots and a couple layers of socks, you are going to be toasty warm, my brother. Brother, you are going to be warm because it's easy to keep your feet warm. If you find the right boots, it's easy. It's very easy. Very easy. Your hands, though? No. Hands are difficult. You need something to keep your fingies warm. And I'm probably just more sensitive than everybody else because I've literally gotten frostbite because I had to go out and fix a roof on a trailer in a literal blizzard up near Canada when I used to live up there. Window. My hands, they'll be fine. Yes, the draft comes in right here. When I build my next one, that's not going to be an issue because I'm going to build something on this that curves around here and blocks the wind on my truck for the doors. I'm going to build a panel on the doors that comes inside here and then blocks, and then it is also zip tied, and it just kind of sticks in there when the door opens. It kind of just flexes with the door and it stays there to block the wind, but the door will still be openable. But yeah, let me tell you guys, if I can build this, you can too. And this is $2,000. That is $7,000 if you're an idiot like me. But don't go wasting money on these if you just want something to get around. Because I can tell you right now, the amount I paid for that, this does not go far. Like, that can go farther than this, but not right now. This could go circles around that right now. But if I was to buy another battery for this, just one singular battery for this trike, it could go just as far as this. And by that point, you're only talking probably I think maybe bike batteries for this are 2,700 versus 700 or 7,000 or 7,100, something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, or I think they're 5,800. Actually, they're not 5,000. I think they're 5,800 or something like that. Not worth it. These are not worth the money. I don't care. They're not worth it. These are not worth the money at all. Not worth it. I'm sorry. I knew people at that company, and I liked you guys, and I'm sorry to have to talk crap about your product, but I don't want to see people make the same mistake I did. Today is way too difficult. Things are way too expensive for people to be wasting this kind of money on things like this. Good for me. I live with my parents. I can afford. I'll come back from this. Yeah, I'm pissed. I'll come back from it though. I will. Especially once I get my job. I don't have a lot of bills. But people that have a ton of bills, if you were to buy something like this, oh my God, I feel bad for you. Because it's going to be hard to come back from that. Me, I'll come back from this. It'll be fine. That's why I like buying things like this and talking about it for you guys, because I don't like these rich companies ripping people off. I don't. And if I see some bull crap that I think needs to be talked about, I'm going to talk about it. Especially if it's something I personally own. That's why I never recommend e-bikes to people. People ask me about e-bikes all the time. Like, oh, is this a good e-bike? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I've never owned it. It could be a good e-bike. It could be a bad e-bike. You just might have to do that yourself and take a gamble on it. I wish I was rich enough to buy every single different e-bike there is. I wish I was rich enough to buy every single e-bike there is. Every single one. I wish I was. But unfortunately, I'm not. I think a car crash just happened. Hold on. Okay. I just wanted to see what that was. It wasn't a car crash. Someone pulled out in front of somebody with a trailer and almost hit it. But, yeah, anyways, don't get ripped off by this company. These are not worth it. And to be honest, these are probably going to bring you problems with the law and stuff. They say talk to your local ordinance and stuff like that. But legally in my state, these are not allowed on the road at all. I drive it on the road in my area because the police are cool with me around here. They love this thing and they like seeing it. But legally, in the state of Michigan, this is not allowed on the road. I called the DMV after the cop pulled me over and he told me this was a golf cart because I wanted them to call him back and tell him this was not a golf cart, and they did, and it made him look like an idiot. I thought it was funny because he thought he knew more about my car than I did. But yeah, in the state of Michigan, these are only allowed on sidewalks and bike trails or bike lanes. I don't know if they're allowed on bike trails. You actually have to check with your city on that one. But these are only allowed on bike lanes and sidewalks in the state of Michigan. So yeah, you might want to check that before. You might want to check where your sidewalks and your bike lanes end before you buy one, because some police, they don't care if you need to use the road for like a brief second because there's no sidewalk, because sidewalk infrastructure in this country is absolute bullcrap, and I figured out why that is, and there's a lot of things that could change to make that better, because a lot of civilians are responsible for the sidewalk out in front of their house, and I think that's kind of bullcrap. But yeah, anyways, these, they tell you, they always kind of hint at you that even though they say you can use these, they're not as usable as they claim them to be. And like I said, I've had no problems with it until I went out of town, but this thing is legally by the DMV. I called, gave them the serial number and everything on this. This thing is legally classified, yes, as a mobility scooter, but it is only allowed on the sidewalk in bike lanes. It's not allowed on the road ever, under any circumstance. Even though I said in my area, they let me drive it in the road sometimes. But legally, it is not allowed to do that. But you know what legally is allowed to do that? This. And the bike I'm talking about with 4 wheels. Actually, don't actually quote me on that. I don't know if that one's legally allowed to do that. I don't know. It might change because it has 4 wheels, because e-bikes are defined as something that has 3 wheels. But I think they might be kind of confused when they pull that thing over, because it's going to look like a pickup truck. And when I open the door, it's going to be like, oh, this is a bike. Okay. But yeah, legally, this is only allowed on sidewalks and bike lanes. So before you get one, if you want to get one, I don't know why you would want one after seeing this video. I mean, if you've got like a 5-mile ride there and back, yeah, if that's all you're going to do with this, it's perfect for that. It'll even still do that right now, the way it's acting. But if you want to go farther with that, I don't know why you would ever want to pay $7,000 for something to go 5 miles. Dude, get that, build yourself that, because that goes farther. And when you're going to pay for something to use as a mode of transportation, you want something that goes far. You don't, especially if you're going to pay over $5,000 for it. You know, that's insane. You could get a used car for that. But yeah, my stupid mistake. I bought the thing. It's going to take me a while to come back from it. If I don't get a job, and I'm working very hard on doing that right now, it's going to take way longer, and I'm going to be way more angry. But I get my job, it will not take me too long at all to come back from this. And I'll have my truck soon enough as well. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, just don't make stupid mistakes. Listen to people that have things that aren't sponsored by the companies, because whenever someone's sponsored by the company, take everything that comes out of their mouth as a load of bull crap, because it probably is. When someone actually buys it with their own money and they use it, and they have no legal papers, no MDAs or anything like that they've signed, they can be honest about this thing. And I can. I can be honest about this. I can be honest about that. I can be honest about my Unirail. I can be honest about... That's why I say all the time, e-bike companies sponsor me. No e-bike company is ever going to sponsor me, dude. Unless they are the most honest e-bike company on the planet. They are never going to sponsor me, ever. Because I will not hide the truth on something. If it's bad, I'm gonna put a video out there about it and let people know this thing is a piece of crap. Do not get it. Do not get one of these. It's stupid. Don't get one. Yes, it's very cool. It's really neat. If you like want to drive around a golf course or something like that, that's what I think these are useful for. Golf courses. Just to drive around and do golf. Because even with the crappy battery, it's going to do it. And golf courses have thousands of dollars, so they can afford a bunch of these. And probably a lot of people are going to like these for golfing because they have fans, they have heaters, they've got a lot of room. You can do a lot with this thing, with a golf. This thing would be awesome for golf or like mall security or something like that. These have practical uses, but if you're going to buy one as a civilian, I wouldn't. They're not worth it. They're really not worth it. I feel so stupid for spending the money I spent on this thing, and I wish I could get rid of it for what I paid for it. But I'm not going to put this burden on somebody else. Be like, oh yeah, it's fine, it runs fine, and get $5,000 on it. Because I know of a lot of people right now that want this thing and they would buy it for that. But I'm not doing that. Yes, I really could use the money back, but I'm not going to put my stupid decision on somebody else. It was my stupid decision to buy this. I've got to fix it now. That's all there is to it. Should the company fix it? Yes, absolutely they should fix it. I paid $7,000 for this stupid thing. But unfortunately, there's so many stupid laws and different loopholes and things in place that companies are allowed to get away with screwing you. So I'm stuck with this piece of junk. So yeah, that's great. But anyways, guys, again, Geo enclosed mobility scooter, Geo Golf, stay away from them. Stay away from them. Do not get them as a mode of transportation. If you're like a mall security or golf course or something like for a little practical use, great. Yeah, it's great for that. Great for that. Little parade thing to throw in a parade, something like that. Yeah, great. Great little novelty. Reliable source of transportation? No. Piece of garbage.